How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another edition of FSI's PGA DFS Pick Show. I'm your host, TK Nation 47, joined with John Cool 19. John, the biggest party in golf did not disappoint. Just an amazing weekend of watching golf, let alone, the whole one and done fun Sunday for myself and the winning, DFS lineups that we had. Just overall, from a watchable standpoint, express how you felt about the waste management at Phoenix Open.
Oh man, it was so cool. I'm watching the Sam Ryder hole in one. The Carlos Ortiz didn't get nearly as much coverage, but it had been like a couple thousand tee shots on that hole since the last hole in one. Fans go nuts, and then it was something like 40 or 50 tee shots before Carlos Ortiz did it again. But good for both of those guys. I'm all for that party. I understand that that behavior is not acceptable at the Masters, at Augusta. Probably not acceptable this week here at Riviera, but at that course, at that hole, at this tournament, that is absolutely acceptable. I am all for it. Maybe a little less on the throwing all the beer cans, but party, celebrate, toss your beer everywhere. Maybe keep your can to yourself. That's just me personally, but enough on that for me. That it was just so much fun. It was awesome. Yeah. Great event. Awesome for you picking up the one and done selection on the week, moving way up the standings. I creeped up a little bit with Justin Thomas backdoor top 10, so I'll take that. But yeah, overall, super exciting week. I had a great week in cash, kept me afloat. And then over on Yahoo, just some excellent lines. I had 75% of my lines at 6 out of 6 over there, so it went really well for me. So yeah. How about you? Everything, did you enjoy watching the tournament?
Oh, absolutely. I had some friends over for the Super Bowl, but we were watching the golf tournament on the smaller screen till the ending of that. And of course I was sweating, the one and done pick. So it was a good time Sunday. And, I even had a couple of hours of golf watching experience on the weekend. So I was really pumped up, but yeah. Enough about the waste management Phoenix Open. It was a blast. Now we're moving on to, what seems like a major-esque type field here with some of the biggest names in golf. I believe there's only 3 out of the top 20 not here this week, or top 30. I know Bryson's still dealing with an injury, Harris English injury, and I don't think we're getting there's one more name I can't think of off the top of my head, but I know we got a lot of good stars here.
Great field.
This is Tiger's event. Go ahead and break this down for us a little bit about the Genesis Invitational.
Sure. So Genesis Invitational is played at Riviera Country Club. This is in Pacific Palisades, California. So jumping back California, Arizona, back to California, and now we're off to the Florida swing starting next week. So that's exciting. So this course, it's par 71, 7,300 yards. It is pretty dry conditions there, so it might play just a little bit shorter than that. These are POA grass greens and Kikuyu fairways and rough. It's kind of a tricky, there's not many courses that have that in the fairways and in the rough here in America, more like South Africa. And the Aussies, I think, play on this surface as well. But these greens are fast. They are firm, very difficult, lots of 3-putts on this course. And some of the most difficult when it comes to like inside 15 feet. And then as well, if you look at outside 15 feet putting, just super, super tough. So that's something to consider this week. As we look at some of the other stats, off the tee is going to be very important this week, but I'm waiting a little bit more on the driving distance or good drives gained, some combination of those stats versus accuracy. The fairways are very, very tough to find. Lots of players are going to find themselves off the fairway, but it isn't necessarily the most penal rough. They did have it up a little bit last year, but overall this tends to be on the shorter side when it comes to the rough. But the trick here is the greens are super small from there and then really difficult to hit. So overall, this is a tough course. We're not going to see golfers at 21, 22 under par this week, or at least we shouldn't. Lots of sand too, strategically placed sand, including the sand right in the middle of the green on one of the holes this week. So definitely sand saves, scrambling, and around the greens are going to be very important in our modeling, looking at other comp courses and just difficult scoring courses as well to try and pull those into our model. And a bogey avoidance, since it's such a difficult course, we need to focus on that quite a bit more than we would birdie or better, which we are typically used to putting into our models, at least the last month or so. It's been almost every single week. So that's about it. I think the biggest focus is there off the tee and around the greens. And you can kind of use tee to green overall in your modeling if you want.
Absolutely agree. Short game was a big part of my modeling this week and a big part of the research for me. Guys that, have some good course history that play really well around these greens, not necessarily just around the greens, but just around the greens here at the Genesis Invitational, because they are so difficult and unique. And unlike any other, except for maybe something like the Masters, where you have like the burnt edge off the green, the shaved off greens. So a lot of correlation between the two. So, a lot of research was, okay, how did he fare at the Masters? How does he fare here in the past? And hopefully we have some really good picks here for you guys this week in what is expected to be a tough field. Here we go. Favorite picks for myself is going to be Cam Smith at 22-1. The elite short game, probably the best short game in the world right now, coming off of in a very, very stellar victory at the Century. He missed the cut at the Sony Open the following week, but I'm not putting too much stock into that. I mean, the guy went toe-to-toe with Rahm on Sunday, and the very next week in Hawaii, he missed the cut. I mean, he could have easily just cashed it out after, the second round, and that's the whole reason why he missed the cut. But I have no fear going back to Cam Smith.
Sure.
Fourth at the Genesis in 2021. We know he has some really good Masters history, a 10th place and a second place finish, and a fifth a few years back for Cam Smith. So there is that correlation. Fourth last year, as I mentioned, and sixth in 2018. Coming off the hot, swing season, he had that victory. Fourth in short game, 13th in 3-putt avoidance, 10th in the model. When he wins, he puts the lights out. So hopefully Cam Smith can ride that hot putter into another victory for me. Who's your favorite play of the week, and your thoughts on Cam and maybe some others at the top of the leaderboard?
Yep, I definitely like Cam Smith as well this week. I think he's a great option for cash, especially at this price. You're going to be able to put him in GPPs also, but a guy you're not going to be able to probably play in your cash lineup, at least not the way that I structure my lineups. That would be Patrick Cantlay. He is my top play off the top of this board. He's 1,100. I'm missing a zero here in this slide, but he's $11,000 on DraftKings, 10-1 odds in the betting market. His last miscut was at the Open Championship in July. He's been super consistent since then. And really, I don't know if there's any other golfer that is hotter on tour right now. He's got 6 straight top 10 finishes. That includes 2 wins and his runner-up from last week. That is just absolute flaming hot. Patrick Cantlay is playing outstanding right now. The course history is really good as well. He's made his last 4 cuts here. Some missed cuts earlier in his career, but made his last 4, all of those top 20 finishes. 4th place in 2018, and the stats just absolutely love Patrick Cantlay right now. He's 9th greens in regulation, 6th off the tee, 6th in bogey avoidance, number 1 in this field, shooting on par 5s, and he is 3rd in scrambling in this field the last 36 rounds. So even if he doesn't find himself in the middle of the fairway, he's able to come back, get it close to the pin, knock it in for a lot of birdies. So I have a lot of faith in Patrick Cantlay this week if he can keep up that consistency. I think he's a great option in one and dones, in GPPs. The main reason I really like him, he's right up there with Rahm, Justin Thomas, and all those guys are looking at projected ownership a bit higher than Cantlay this week. So I'm okay with that ownership dip. It might not be significant, but that 3, 4, 5, 8% that you might get discounted versus playing Rahm, I think is completely worth it to jump over to Cantlay instead.
Yeah, Rahm's really struggling with the putter right now. That's got me really worried, and I'm actually leaning towards fading Rahm just all overall. Like, I know that's a scary thought. The guy can win at any point, but yeah, his putting inside 5 feet is really, we've been tracking it. It's been pretty bad. He's questionable on the green. Certainly not with the irons or the driver. I mean, he's hitting the ball fantastic, John Rahm, but yeah, putter is way off. Patrick Cantlay, yeah, He rolled that end of the year form right into this year. And I don't mind Colin Morikawa, before we move on to value. I just wanted to make a quick mention. Three straight top fives or top tens worldwide between the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour. He's in fantastic form, and shout out to him for standing up for the PGA Tour and us here in the States for the whole ongoing Saudi League thing that's going on. Planting his flag here for the PGA Tour, and pumps me up. And we're big fans of Morikawa. I'm glad to see him take a stand. And, who knows where that's going to go, but I'm glad he's going to be a part of, us in the PGA Tour for the following future. All right, moving on to value. Before we get too off the rails, I'm going with Kevin Na. Speaking of off the rails, 7,500, 75-1. Kevin Na's got some really great course history here. 38. A miscut, 33rd, second, and a fourth in his last 5. I really like, distance here. I think that correlates really well with the finishing position. But, Kevin Na seems to do really well because I think of his elite short game. He's got some really good scrambling ability, plays really well out of this rough. He's third in short game, fourth in this proximity from 150 to 175. He's first in scrambling and first around the green. So I'm going to take that plus his course history. And I'm going to hope that Kevin Na can lag putt me, because we know how difficult it is to, hit these greens and how hard it is to make putts. But let's hope Kevin Na can lag putt his way to a top solid finish. The form ain't bad either. 20th at the Sony's, 13th at the Century. So he's got some form. Next up, I'm going to go with Alex Noren. Same price, 7,500, but 80-1. Played really well last week before he put one in the water on, I believe, 15, the par 5. He was cruising. For a second, I'm like, oh my God, is Alex Noren going to steal this again? He tends to play these California swing events pretty well. Another guy with great short game. Second in short game, 12th around the green, 17th scrambling, 9th in 3-putt avoidance. So kind of following the same guy this week in my models. I'm drawing them out of the statistics, and I'm really circling the guys that can play well around the greens. He's got some decent course history here as well, a 12th, a 59th, and a 16th. So he's played well at Genesis. He's got good short game. Checks both my lists for the week. 6th last week, as I mentioned, 39th at the Farmers, another tough event. So I think that correlates pretty well for us. What are your thoughts on these two? And who are your favorite value plays of the week?
Sure. I like them both. I think play Kevin Na, fade whoever his playing partners are. Can be really frustrating playing with Kevin Na. It will throw you off your game by having to watch him line up his shot and take 4 or 5 minutes before he hits a tee shot. Very frustrating if you're playing with him, but I think he is a good pick for the tournament. I have not seen who he's partnered with. I just feel bad for whoever that happens to be on the first 2 days. And then going into the weekend as well, assuming Kevin's there, feel bad for his partner. But my value plays, I went a little bit higher in the pricing here, but I think these guys still give you really good value. 2 excellent cash options this week. The first guy off for me, Taylor Gooch. He's coming in very good form here. His last 10 events, he's made 9 cuts. That includes a win at the RSM. 5 of his last 6 events have been top 30 finishes. The model really, really loves him this week. He's 9th on approach, 7th bogey avoidance, 9th in sand saves, and then the good drives gained, which I talked about earlier, 26th in that as well. POA is his best putting service, so I like that a lot. He comes in 22nd over long-term POA putting in this event, and 4th around the greens the last 36 rounds. So that short game, excellent for Taylor Gooch. And then just course form. He's played here a handful of times, 20th in 2018. He was 10th and then 12th last year. So 3 very good finishes for Taylor Gooch. And I don't think he was in the form either of those 3 seasons that he's been in going into this. I think he's got a great chance at like a top 5 here. I don't know if he's going to quite have enough to win, but I will be playing a ton of Taylor Gooch in my lineups. Another guy here, though, that we play every time he's in the field. I'm glad he is back from the COVID list. He had to miss at least 1 event because of that. I'm not sure how many he was signed up for, but at least the one he had to withdraw. And that's Will Zalatoris, 8,800. I've got him at 28-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. his last 10 events. He does have 2 missed cuts, but the consistency isn't why we like him. It's the upside here. He has 3 top 10s, including both of his 2022 starts. He was a runner-up at his last event that was at the Farmers, and then immediately went on the COVID list after that event. He was 15th here at the Genesis last year, so he's played the course at once, played it very well. I like Will Zalatoris a ton. He actually gains strokes putting on POA, which I would not have guessed. He is a terrible putter in general, but it's like barely over 0, but it's over 0 when it comes to putting on POA. And that's all we need out of him this week for a top 10 or better finish. Just don't stink at putting, just be okay. And he can absolutely beat everybody in the field when it comes to tee to green. He's got good comp course history. And then we talked about the approach, 16th there, 23rd, good drives gained. He is 3rd, greens in regulation. He's going to get it there, give himself birdie chances. 2nd in bogey avoidance as well. It's a whole lot to like about Will Zalatoris. I am torn between picking him and another golfer right now as my one and done this week. So we'll see. I think I might switch back and forth 2 or 3 more times between now and lock. But Will Zalatoris is an excellent choice this week. I love the price, though, because of how stacked this field is. He's bumped way down. In other events, we're going to see him at 9 and 10K as we move forward into this season. The 8,800 is just awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely going to have both of these guys in the majority of my lineups, especially Taylor Gooch. 3rd in my model, Zalatoris, another guy that was, heavily considered on my short list for one and done, on my short list for favorite picks. So definitely going to be heavily involved in these 2 as well. Heading into the sleeper slide, I'm going with Brendan Grace at 6,600, 200 to 1. Another guy with great short game and a good course fit. He does have some good course form. 20th, but he has 2 missed cuts, followed up with 37th and a 22nd place finish. Not terrible, but also he's got some, top 25 upside, which is what we like to see from, a guy down here in the 6K range. He's got that great short game, 19th around the green, 5th in 3-putt avoidance. He's 24th from that par 4 range from 450 to 500 yards. And he's from South Africa, so he's used to the thick Kikuyu rough. I heard you mention it. Sure. In your course breakdown. That's a good job by you, because that's definitely something I took into account when thinking about taking Brendan Grace, and he checks out for me this week, and hopefully he can give me a top 25. That's all I'm really hoping for
Sure.
out of Brendan Grace. Yeah. Your thoughts on him and your favorite sleeper of the week?
Yeah, I can certainly get behind Brandon Grace this week. For me, as far as a sleeper goes, a guy kind of really popped for me in the modeling, and that is Aaron Rai, somebody you may not be familiar with unless you were watching a handful of weeks ago at the Farmers. His price is actually 6,400. This slide is not showing that, but he is 180 to 1. I am not expecting a win from Aaron Rai, but I think a top 20 or so finish, just like you said with Grace, would be excellent at 6,400 on DraftKings. He missed the cut on the number his last event, and that was at Pebble Beach. He was 9% owned, which is just crazy for a guy that not many people know about. That was coming after that finish at the Farmers where he was 6th place. I expect the ownership to be way down on Aaron Rai this week. I'll take advantage there. He is a type of guy, and Brendan Grace, but I think low-owned Aaron Rai will help you get to guys like Cantlay up top and be able to go Cantlay, Smith, Cantlay, Zalatoris, something like that. You playing a guy at 6,400 really, really helps with that. He had a great swing season that included 3 top 20s during the month of November. And his POA putting, very, very good. He comes in top 30 in long-term POA putting. He's got no course history here. Again, part of the reason I'm not expecting him to win. But the other part is off the tee game is fantastic. Last 36 rounds, he is 9th in good drives gained, 8th in fairway accuracy, very good on par 5s. And then overall off the tee, 20th in this field of just stacked golfers. So I like that a ton. 27th greens in regulation. So he's going to give himself a chance at quite a few birdie putts. And then that POA putting should come in. I like Aaron Rai to make the cut, make a run on the weekend, and help you win, move up the leaderboard in your DraftKings with this low price.
Absolutely. All right, now we're moving on to the slide of the week. It is the one and done slide. Just an insane run. I cannot, undersell it. 202nd place. Man, I hope I can keep it going, but
Long season.
It's at some point the bottom's going to drop out here. Who knows? But I'm going Cam Smith, my favorite. Just a really solid feel for him this week. I mean, I had Rory, Bubba, and Zalatoris all in the mix too, as far as one and done selections. I know our subscribers watch this and they want other options for ideas and stuff for guys to take or to think about taking. But those were four guys that I was thinking about. But Cam ultimately was my choice because of the short game, the course history, and the course correlation between the Masters and the Genesis Invitational. So hopefully Cam can give me a solid finish, and just I can keep posting some top tens and keep getting decent checks and hopefully stay within this cash range. But hey, top 10 from you last week. That's exactly what you needed to get back into the swing of things. And now you're hitting, you're going heavy hitter, and I can't blame you here. I like this pick.
Yeah, Dustin Johnson, you mentioned with Cam Smith, the course history. Dustin Johnson is number one in my modeling. Last 50 rounds played here, shots gained. He is tops of that list. You made the comment about the Masters correlation. He has won the Masters and played very well a couple of other times. So Dustin Johnson, I think he's making a comeback right now. He was 10th place in his last event that was overseas. The course history here is absolutely insane. He's played really, really well. A win, multiple runner-ups, and a handful of other top 10 finishes. I think he's kind of coming around with his game here in this season. I think he's going to have a much better 2022 than he did last year. Give me some DJ. And you had made the comment the bottom could fall out here. I think at 200th place, you could miss a cut and you're only going to fall maybe 50 or 75 spots, something like that, because unless the chalk hits and wins, you're not going to fall that hard because you've earned so many dollars the last handful of events. So great job there on the chef pick, and just keep it up. And if you make a few cuts here, you're still going to be right about the same or even moving up at that spot. So I like it. Great work.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Let's hope it keeps going, but that'll wrap things up for us here for our FSI picks for the Genesis Invitational. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at TKNation47. That is JohnCool19. Thank you guys for listening week in and week out. Please, also wanted to give a shout out to the Fantasy National Golf Club for hosting that one and done event and for being very helpful with their modeling each week, each year, I should say. That is a big help for us on our research. So love you guys for that. Thank you, Moose, Mayo. You guys are the best. So thank you to you guys for listening. Please like this video, comment below with any questions you guys might have. And hopefully we can see you in the Discord. You can follow us, or you can find that on our website at FSI, or on our website, www.fsidfs.com, and on our Twitter handle at FSI_DFS. All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoy the Genesis Invitational.
Sweet. Good luck.